In this life, I want the people there to remember my name. I turned and strode into the office. Shen Ruoxi and Su Qingying flanked me, following behind. At this moment, I felt an unprecedented sense of power. I'm no longer the poor kid who had a 10 million check thrown in his face. Outside the airplane window were clouds drifting at 10,000 meters. The plane's wing cut across the sky. Destination, straight to Jingcheng. I leaned back in the spacious leather seat, flipping through the chart of Jingcheng's power players provided by Shen Ruoxi. Su Qingying sat in the adjacent seat, meticulously checking the schedule for after we land. Her level of professionalism now is completely capable of handling the work of a top-tier secretary, CEO Chen. The airport pickup has been arranged, but the young master of the Ai family in Jingcheng has sent word. At tonight's charity banquet, he hopes you can attend on time. The Ai family, the very family that was known in my past life as the Ai family that controlled half of Jingcheng's electronics industry. 2 years from now, the Ai family will collapse due to a capital chain rupture, but right now, they are still untouchable giants. For the Ai family's young master to invite me at this time is clearly a show of force against an outsider like me, Miss Shen reminded me. The Ai family's tactics are very dirty. Should we decline? Why decline? They've already set the stage. If I don't go, how can the show go on? The plane landed smoothly at the capital airport. I stepped out of the cabin. The dry, cold air hit my face. This is no longer the warm Yuncheng, nor the prosperous Modu, but the center of power. I adjusted the collar of my suit. In my previous life, I was just a delivery boy in this city. This life, I want this city to turn its head for me. The car drove steadily into the city center, watching the red walls and green tiles pass by the window. My heart was unusually calm, whether it's the Ai family or the power circle in Jingcheng. Before me, a person with 10 years of memories. They are just remnants of an old era. The club. In front of the entrance, luxury cars were like clouds. An attendant in a cheongsam led me inside. Stepping into the main hall, all conversation immediately quieted down. Countless scrutinizing gazes fell upon me. Young Master Yi Feng stood in the middle of the crowd, swirling a tall glass of wine in his hand. His eyes carried a bone-deep arrogance. So this is the Chen and who's been causing a stir in Modu? Xiao Chen doesn't look so special. A burst of laughter erupted from the crowd. Su Qingying stood behind me. Her body stiffened slightly, but she quickly regulated her breathing and stood there calmly. I ignored Yifeng's provocation and went straight to a nearby sofa to sit down. Young Master Ye, 3 heads and 6 arms. That's a monster. I'm just an ordinary person who likes to make money. Make money. Money in Jingcheng isn't that easy to make. I hear you want a piece of this electronics chip pie. I advise you to go back to where you came from lest you lose everything, down to your last pair of underwear. He slammed his wine glass down on the table in front of me. The liquid splashed out. This kind of low-level humiliation. I've seen it many times in my past life. I leisurely took out a handkerchief to wipe my hands and looked up into his eyes. Young Master Yi, instead of worrying about my underwear, you should worry a little about the Ai family's shipment of raw materials being held up in Southeast Asia, if I remember correctly. That's the Ai family's lifeline this year, isn't it? Yifeng's expression changed instantly. That matter was strictly covered up by the Ai family. It was impossible for outsiders to know. He stared at me intently. His eyes revealed a look of horror for the first time. The party is wonderful, but I don't like young Master Yeswine. I left calmly under everyone's gaze. Su Qingying followed me out the main door. Her eyes were filled with disbelief as she looked at me. She was probably wondering how many more trump cards I had yet to play. Back at the hotel, I immediately gave the first order. I know where the Ai family's current Achilles heel is. In my past life, the Ai family's collapse began with an internal leak, and the person who leaked the information is now, due to gambling debts, being brutally beaten by Yifeng. Go to the underground casino in the south of the city, find a man named Lao Wu and bring him here. His debts, I will pay double for him. Su Qingying quickly took notes beside me. She was now used to my leap-of-faith decision-making. She no longer asked why, only responsible for executing the work perfectly. An hour later, Lao Wu was brought before me. Xiao Chen, please save me. Yifeng is going to kill me. He can't kill you. Give me the real data from the Ye family's electronic ledgers. I will send you abroad. Lao Wu hesitated for less than 3 seconds before nodding in agreement. In the face of life and death, loyalty isn't worth a dime. After getting the data, I didn't rush to publicize it. Instead, I called Shen Ruoxi directly. You move really fast. The Ai family just made a move and you already have them by their weak spot. Director Shen, prepare the capital tomorrow morning. As soon as the market opens, we will acquire the entire core industry of the Ai family. Hanging up the phone. I walked to the window. The night view of Jingcheng is beautiful, but also full of killing intent. I know that after tomorrow, the Yi family will become history, and the name Dynasty Capital will completely shake Jingcheng. Go and rest. Tomorrow we'll need a lot of energy for the harvest. Su Qingying nodded. She looked at my back. An indescribable worship appeared in her eyes. I knew she was now completely devoted to me. The stock market had only been open for half an hour. The three listed companies of the Yi family all hit their limit down. The tycoons in Jingcheng who had been watching from the sidelines could no longer sit still. They looked at the red numbers dancing on the big screen. Their faces were all written with horror. What's happening? The Yi family is being maliciously shorted. Who would have such guts? I sat in the VIP room of the trading floor. In front of me were several computers. Shen Ruoxi sat beside me. He was rapidly executing orders, every move hitting the Ai family's weak spots, as precise as a surgical operation. Chen An, the data you provided is incredible. The Ai family's capital chain is broken. They are completely beyond saving now. This is just the interest. Yesterday, Yifeng said. I wasn't worthy of making money. I have to show him how money is lost. Just then, Yifeng frantically pushed open the VIP room door. His eyes were bloodshot. His tie was askew. The arrogance of last night was gone. He rushed towards me, wanting to grab my collar, but he was pinned to the ground by bodyguards. Chenon, you're a madman. You're courting death. The power circle in Jingcheng won't let you off. Young Master Yi, the power circle only follows the strong. To them, you no longer have any value to exploit. I signaled the bodyguards to throw him out. Su Qingying stood by, watching the once arrogant Yi Feng being dragged away like a dead dog. She sighed softly. This scene reminded her of the Su family from before. Stop sighing. Notify the finance department to begin taking over the Ai family's core assets. I walked out of the trading floor. The sunlight was a bit dazzling. I knew the fall of the Ai family was just the beginning. I have completely stirred the waters of Jingcheng. On the 7th day after the Yi family's collapse, Dynasty Capital's Jingcheng branch was officially established. At the opening ceremony, the Jingcheng tycoons who once looked down on me were now all smiles, lining up to give me their business cards. Profit is the only passport in this circle. CEO Chen is so young and talented. I hope you look after us in Jingcheng from now on. Of course, let's all get rich together. I dealt with these false pleasantries without a ripple in my heart. Su Qingying wore an elegant black formal dress, gracefully moving among the guests, helping me handle the trivial social interactions. She had completely adapted to this high-intensity life. CEO Chen, congratulations. Everyone in Jingcheng knows you now. Chen An is the real golden touch. Director Shen has also earned quite a bit, hasn't he? If it weren't for your capital support, I wouldn't have been able to acquire the Ai family so quickly. Shen Ruoxi smiled. His eyes held a new depth they didn't have before. We are not just partners now, but a community of shared interests. I looked at the noisy crowd below the stage and suddenly remembered the day I was reborn. That 10 million check seems so ridiculous now. Su Jiangguo, do you see this? Back then, you wanted to use money to buy out my future. In the end, it allowed me to buy the expectations of all of Jingcheng. The ceremony ended. I stood on the top floor rooftop, looking down at the brilliant lights of all of Jingcheng. I knew my business map was beginning to take shape, but this is only the foundation. In the future, I will build a commercial empire, a global one belonging to Chen An. CEO Chen, the flight to Modu for tomorrow morning has been booked. Good. Next stop, we're going to retrieve the final piece that belongs to me. I turned and walked towards the desk. The sunset shone on my back, casting a long shadow. This life, I will finally become king. Outside the floor-to-ceiling window, the Huangpu River flows ceaselessly. After returning from Jingcheng, I didn't rest, but dove straight into arranging the global market layout. Su Qingying stood behind me, skillfully organizing the cross-border merger documents. The arrogance of a young lady in her eyes had faded, replaced by a bit of steadiness honed by adversity. CEO Chen, the North American tech giants can't sit still any longer. They've jointly sent a letter wanting to buy out our core AI algorithm. A buyout? They're afraid of being left completely behind by us. Tell them, Wang Chao Technology doesn't sell technology, we only sell products. I leaned back in the genuine leather swivel chair, looking at the world map on the wall. In my past life, these giants used a technology blockade to suppress us for a full 10 years. In this life, I will show them what it means to have the tables turned. There's one more thing. My father was discharged from the hospital today. He wants to cook a meal for you himself before he returns to his hometown. That's not necessary. Miss Su, I've already said it, between us, there is only work. Help him buy a retirement home in Yuncheng, deduct the money from my personal account. Su Qingying's movement stiffened. She lowered her head, her voice a little choked up. I knew she still hadn't let go, but the door in my heart had been tightly shut since the day I was reincarnated. Get back to work. This afternoon's meeting with Shen Ruoxi is very important. Don't let any mistakes happen. She took a deep breath, wiped the corners of her eyes, and returned to her professional state. I looked at her retreating figure, my heart unusually clear. In this life, I am no longer an accessory to anyone. I am the master of this grand chess game. After finishing overtime, I walked alone along the riverbank. The night wind was very cold, blowing away more than half of my tipsiness. Su Qingying ran after me, handing me a coat. She looked at me, her eyes holding a long-suppressed emotion, as if it could burst forth at any moment. Chenan, if If I hadn't accepted that check back then, if you were still that poor boy from the past, would you, even just a little bit, still love me like before? I stopped walking and turned to look at her. The riverside lights cast a pale glow on her face. This question I had asked countless times in my previous life, but in this life, it was her turn to ask. Su Qingying, the cheapest thing in this world is deep affection that comes too late. I know I was wrong. I really regret it. For the past half year, I've watched you climb to the peak step by step, and only then did I realize I had lost the most precious treasure in this world. You regret it because I'm standing at the top now. If you still saw Chenin, like a speck of dust holding an umbrella for you in the rain, you would only find it annoying. I didn't take the coat, letting it fall to the ground. I looked at the surging river and felt an unprecedented sense of liberation in my heart. Miss Su, the job I give you is a recognition of your efforts during this time. If you want to talk about personal feelings, you can submit your resignation tomorrow. Su Qingying collapsed onto the bench, covering her face and sobbing silently. I didn't look back and strode towards the car parked by the road. At this moment, the licking dog Chenin of the past and I were completely severed. The night before the global launch press conference, Shen Ruoxi suddenly appeared in my office with her legal team. She held an agreement in her hand, her eyes showing an unprecedented seriousness. I knew this woman had finally shown her fangs. Chenan, the Shen family wants to invest more capital. We want to acquire 40% of Wang Chao Technologies shares. CEO Shen, are you trying to stage a takeover? Shen Ruoxi walked up to me, placed both hands on my desk, her presence overwhelming. Behind her was Jing Cheng. The Shen family was clearly not satisfied with just being a partner. They wanted to control this future artificial intelligence empire. This is the will of the old master of the Shen family. If you don't agree, all of the Shen family's labs and supply chains in the south will cease operations tomorrow. CEO Shen, do you think that since I dared to let you become a shareholder, I wouldn't have a backup plan? I opened my computer and displayed a hidden structural diagram. Shen Ruoxi looked at the screen, her face turning from white to green. She discovered that the keys to all the core algorithms were scattered throughout the old factory district I had previously acquired in the servers underneath. CEO Shen, if the Shen family wants to withdraw their investment, please feel free. But without me, those labs of the Shen family are nothing but a pile of scrap metal. Shen Ruoxi stared at me intently. After a long moment, she suddenly burst out laughing, a somewhat self-deprecating smile. She put away the agreement and elegantly smoothed her hair. Chenan, you really are a madman. It seems I can only be your obedient partner. A smart choice. A pleasure working with you, CEO Shen. Watching her retreating back, I wiped the cold sweat from my forehead. This was a huge gamble. But I won, because I not only know the trends of the future, but also the greed of human hearts. The stage lights focused on the center. Su Qingying, standing in the wings, nervously clenched her fists. I adjusted my tie, and amidst thunderous applause, I slowly walked onto the podium. Today, we will define the future. When I pressed the control button, Wang Chao Technologies' first-generation general artificial intelligence system officially launched. At that moment, the entire hall fell deathly silent. Immediately after came a sky-shattering cheer. I knew that from this moment on, the name Chen An would be written into the history books. My God, this is technology that's 20 years ahead of its time. I looked at the fervent faces below the stage, yet my heart felt few ripples. In my past life when I died in that dark alley, no one knew who I was. But now, the whole world must listen to my voice. CEO Chen, we succeeded. This is just the beginning. Assistant Su, inform the legal department to prepare a draft of the global industry standard. Shen Ruoxi came over and generously gave me a hug. She whispered in my ear, the Shen family is completely convinced. I pushed open the doors of the auditorium. Outside was a sky full of stars and flashing camera lights. At this moment, I finally stood at the highest point. Not for love, not for honor, but for this view from the summit that makes all other mountains seem small. I refused all interviews and went up alone to the rooftop. The wind was very strong, messing up my hair, but it made me feel more clear-headed than ever. I finally understood the greatest meaning of reincarnation isn't revenge, but giving myself the power to choose my own destiny. 1 year later, I returned to Yuncheng. Nothing here had changed, except that the Su and Zhao families had long become topics of idle gossip. I wore a black trench coat, holding a bouquet of white wild chrysanthemums, and stood before an unmarked grave. That was my burial place in my previous life. In this life, I have lived for you, and also taken revenge for you. You can rest in peace now. I placed the bouquet down and turned to see Su Qingying standing not far away. She had resigned and was now a teacher at an elementary school in Yuncheng. She looked much calmer. Her eyes no longer held the greed and arrogance of the past. CEO Chen, long time no see. Long time no see, Teacher Su. We exchanged a few words like ordinary friends and then walked past each other. No clinging, no melodrama, just the tranquility of waking from a dream. Shenrox's phone call came, telling me that Guangzhou Capital's market value had surpassed 1 trillion US dollars. Big Boss Chen, where are you planning to go next? To a place where no one knows me to get a good night's sleep. I hung up the phone and turned it off. The sunlight shone on the sea's surface, glistening on the waves. I took the yellowed 10 million check out of my pocket. This was the memento I had always kept. I gently tore it, and the pieces scattered into the sea with the wind. To hell with love, to hell with honor. In this life, I have lived wonderfully. I walked towards the sports car parked by the road, started the engine, and disappeared down the end of the road. The legend of Chen On continues.